Hello and welcome to the F1 My F1 podcast. I'm joined by Miss Sarah Hawkie. Say hello.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello.
I managed to wave the right direction this time, so hello.
Woo!
And we're joined by Kulios. Good to see you, buddy. And we're at the sprint race for the Red Bull Ring. This could be a cracker. What are your feelings so far following qualifying, which we weren't sadly able to do a podcast for, but are you expecting a good sprint race?
Oh no.
Oh, not a good sprint race for... Is that Fernando or is that Ocon? It's Fernando.
Alonso, yeah. Oh yeah, qualifying was interesting yesterday, wasn't it? Not very good day for Mercedes. Or McLaren. But yeah. A couple of people got their times to lead for going slightly off track.
Yeah, that was a really big issue yesterday. Any sort of track infringement and bye-bye lap time. And the next one, if you did it on the last corner. Which felt very Gran Turismo-y, wasn't it? It's like,
I was literally about to say that. We know that very well.
yeah.
I play in like GT Sport and GT7 around here.
Exactly.
Last two corners, yep.
Yeah,
I'm not easy, a best friend.
Yeah, we know this track quite well. And hello to Pedro. And yes, Kulios, this is a sprint race.
It is indeed.
Apologies if I cough during this. I'm still trying to get over a bit of an episode with asthma, but you know, we make do and move forwards. Hopefully, so can Fernando.
Hopefully.
I'm not sure what they're putting in there. If that's a PC link or if that's them trying to boost the hydraulic or air pressure. Either way, that doesn't look good for Fernando.
No, unfortunately not.
Good result qualifying-wise for the two Haas boys. I mean,
it was, yeah.
What were they, 6th and 7th? I mean, admittedly, Hamilton crashed himself out during qualifying. But those Haas cars seem to like high downforce tracks and high speed tracks. Anything in between, they don't do.
Yeah.
Right.
Good position for them, and then weren't they separated by like not very much?
Yeah, hundredths, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Right, quick prediction: sprint winner.
Max. I don't know. I just think it's his track. He likes his track, doesn't he?
Oh. Joe stops. That's an aborted start. It's got to be an aborted start. That I've never seen that. Someone fail coming to the grid. That mean a lap shorter for the sprint.
Yeah, extra formation lap.
That's an intro. Oh, there he goes. Oh, yeah, Stephen says, can we fire the Alpine pit crew? I'll be more worried about the engineering department, but if it is the pit crew, have cocked up Alonso's car. Okay, that's a strange one.
It was.
The Ferrari engine in the back of the Sauber Alfa Romeo doing its thing. Does the chat have any predictions or who might be a sprint winner this weekend? I mean, as you alluded to, Sarah, Max has quite a good record when it comes to sprints.
So Joe, keep last position and we have to start from the pit lane.
Guys, I don't know what happened. The engine switched off.
Yeah, Joe's a bit surprised with the engine.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see a good result for Ferrari or Mercedes, or I don't know. I think maybe the Haas boys, if they can, I don't know, start a bit higher than they are for tomorrow, they might have a good result.
Absolutely.
But like you say, Max has got a record round here, hasn't he?
Round here and in sprints. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I wonder if they're going to retire Fernando. I personally want to see, like you say, good Ferrari pace and good Ferrari sprint race, just for the championship, if anything. Keep that championship alive.
Yeah, me too.
Saying that, the top three take each other out, we see a Russell sprint win.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain.
No, I think if they can survive last week at Silverstone after that first lap crash, they can keep their head calm for pretty much anything. So,
No, I don't think we're expecting too much from the Aston Martins this weekend.
No, although I absolutely love Seb's helmet. Could be one of my favourite helmets. It's yellow and black, but it's got little bees on it. And it says "Save the Bees." But if anyone knows me and knows, like, one of my nicknames is Bumblebee, so yeah, I like that helmet.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Hopefully we have someone stop. So Russell's got away well, he's alongside Sainz. Is that Sainz running outside of Leclerc? Oh,
yeah.
AlphaTauri off at turn 1. Sainz is going to go for it. And this is where we saw Hamilton and Rosberg come together famously a few years back.
I think that was Gasly.
He's not having a good year, is he?
No, but he's signed for another year at AlphaTauri.
Any place he could go in all reality. Leclerc on Sainz gets through. We've got some battling for 5th. I can't see who that is though. Oh, that is Ocon and one of the Haas boys. Ferrari too busy fighting each other. Needs to be after Max.
Yeah.
Pedro says he wants the Haas boys to at least get the positions they are now. Yeah, good points. Oh, well, potential for tomorrow. Yeah, Max is going. He's going.
He's going.
As soon as you get a Red Bull out the front, you know, historically, if they get a gap of a couple of seconds, they're gone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Hamilton's gone backwards, but from where he wasn't likely to get points anyway, but he does need a good position for tomorrow.
And I agree.
But he is right behind Albon, who's sitting in 10th at the moment.
That's good for Williams.
Oh, there are reports that it's Hamilton and Gasly tangling. It's not the first time.
Yeah.
Famously at Sao Paulo a couple of years ago.
You need a little bit of left foot on the brake because you are pointing uphill. And initially, then Leclerc got
Look what's happened there, then.
Yeah, first.
Oh.
And there's the contact in the middle of the pack.
Okay, that was a big clunk. So what happened?
So Gasly was behind him and is now alongside him.
Okay, so Hamilton very much got squeezed by, I think it was Ocon and Gasly. Yeah, no, Albon and Gasly. That's very much like Silverstone Turn 1 with Zhou and Russell.
Yeah, I was going to say, look how easily that rear of that car just lifted up.
I'm very surprised Gasly doesn't have any damage though.
Yeah.
Okay, so the soft tyre runners are only Albon, Vettel, Stroll and Latifi. I do expect them to have high tyre wear and start dropping off probably halfway through this. Gula says a lot of the Formula 1 cars are spinning out yesterday. Yeah, we had Russell and Hamilton in the barrier in qualifying Q3, which was a bit stunning. I was talking to a friend at the time, and it was commenting that Russell's spin particularly looks weird. It's almost like the rear aero on the Merc has a bit of a stall at certain speeds or certain wind conditions, and it just flicked. And as Coolio says, it could be to do with ground effects. Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh. Norris and Albon close through turn 2. Or turn 3, technically.
And it's not going a whole lot better, is it there? As Albon, of course, on the soft compound tyre, making those.
Okay, now we've got
Will they hang on though?
Danny on the back of Norris.
oh, I thought Danny was gonna send like a on the inside there.
Yeah, that would be
Interesting.
yeah, appropriate word. Hello, Mandy Moo. Good to see you.
Perez got a good deal out of that whole first couple of laps deal.
Yeah, 8th. Where did he start?
13th or 14th, I think.
I'm sure he didn't qualify there.
But I think he got his lap deleted or something because of.
Post-race.
Yeah.
Post-session penalty. Yeah, I should have looked into that. I knew he was being
Because
investigated.
he was in Q3, what I remember.
So he is right behind Mick at the moment.
No, Mick's right behind Magnussen, I think.
Yeah, and then Perez right behind him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's probably going to get them in a minute, I reckon.
Yeah, I think that Red Bull, round the Red Bull ring, is likely to go past it quite quickly. So how close is Leclerc to Verstappen? He's not. Okay.
He's not.
Yeah. That's fair. And good to see you, Mandy. Feeling a bit better. Not perfect yet, but we may do what we got. Have you noticed they put in 2 little mini chicanes on the straight there?
No.
Have a look next time, and that was close between the Ferraris.
Yeah, that was. Will do.
Sainz definitely looks like he's got a bit more punchy since his good performance at Canada, isn't he? And his win last week out.
Yeah. I was speaking to Pedro the other day, and apparently Charles has hinted that there's division at Ferrari currently, because I think it's the Santander sponsor. They like Carlos.
Being Spanish.
So it's like, yeah, so they're kind of favouring him at the moment, or trying to. That's apparently one of the reasons behind the weird strategy we saw at Silverstone.
F1 politics at its best.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, Albon is falling through the field a bit. Norris has just got him.
Yeah, I don't think those softs are going to hold on for very long.
No. See, look, if you look on the left and right here, you can see a couple of chicanes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Sainz is really going for it on Leclerc. Being fair, he does look like he's got more pace than Leclerc. This is going to end in tears, lads. This is going to end in tears.
Although it might be alright for Russell, I guess, if he can just catch up a little bit.
Well, he seems to be... Well, he's fallen 3 seconds off. He doesn't look like he's got the race pace, sadly.
No.
I should probably say this isn't the race, it's the sprint. Oh, so Sainz did get him into turn 3. But then he got a second helping of DRS and then failed to get past him. They are both properly fighting each other, and that's a little bit naughty from Leclerc pushing him that wide.
Yeah.
What do you think of what we saw in Silverstone last week with the Red Bulls pushing drivers wide all the time?
Yeah, at tracks like this, well, especially last year, it was frowned upon. obviously I think you had Perez and Norris get.
On each other.
No, you got
wasn't it?
yeah. You got Perez got 10 seconds, wasn't it? And Norris got 5.
Yeah, because Perez did it twice.
Yeah, and then almost like this year, we've seen it happen, but it's like the FIA are like, doesn't matter.
It does seem to be. If there's tarmac there, yeah, it's fine. If there's gravel
It's
there,
fine.
no, naughty boy. Doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
With that move, we saw Norris bouncing across the
Oh,
Sausage Curb there.
5 seconds for Albon.
What was
We're
he?
literally just talking about that.
Oh, for forcing Norris wide at turn
Yeah.
3. It's worth stating as well, when you look at a track map, the big 90-degree right-hander, where the Haas boys are coming up to now, is turn 3. Where they're on that little that curvy straight is technically turn 2. It's not a turn, but...
Yeah.
Oh, Perez!
Oh,
Perez dive. That is...
close.
That's the Haas boys fighting each other, and Perez going, I'll have that.
I'll take that.
If the Haas guys could have kept with each other in the DRS train, they could have kept Perez behind them, but... Oops.
This is working out pretty well for George Russell, because Esteban Ocon is just being a sort of cork in the bottle for the driver.
That's a fair point. Ocon's still sitting there in 5th. He's doing well.
He doesn't have the pace
Yeah.
Sainz and Leclerc.
It's a shame Alonso's out, but...
Yeah, but I suppose it's try and sort it out for tomorrow. See if you can climb through the pack.
Yeah.
Not risk anything else happening with the car for 20-ish laps.
If they're clever, they might take a strategic penalty and put in a new gearbox and
Oh, yeah,
power
true.
unit. You start at the back anyway, why not?
I was going to say, yeah, it can't affect his starting position anyway.
No.
We're always going for it.
And the only cost is the physical cost, isn't it? For the budget.
Yeah, exactly. A Red Bull is fast. Like you could just see Ocon in the distance. He's gonna catch him any second.
Yeah, it's 1.7 seconds, and he might be there in under 1.7 seconds. So it's that quick, isn't it?
Exactly.
Is getting ever closer to Mick Schumacher. Let's have another look at this move once more. Kevin Magnussen on the inside, Sergio Perez on the
What always irritates me is when you see these replays, is all the drivers being overtaken defend the inside and just give the racing line to the people that are overtaking. I mean, it's a catch-22. Do you defend it? Or do you stick to the racing line and make it difficult for them? So it's catch-22. Oh!
Is that Seb?
It is Seb.
Seb!
Spinetta off again.
Where is he? Where is he going?
He's doing a Lewis, he's reversing. If I were him, I would retire the car now. Also, what happened? Oh, is that with Latifi?
Must be.
23. That's Albon, I think. It is Albon.
That was like an interlocking tyre moment, I think.
Oh.
You know, that looks like 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Albon is entitled to some space up the inside.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Gave him some space to be
It's almost a little bit reminiscent of Hamilton and Verstappen at Silverstone last year.
Yeah, both weren't hitting right parts of the track.
Yeah. I think Albon might get a penalty for that, though. If we
Although-
use historic data.
Yeah, but Seb could have given him a little bit more room.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
he did come in.
I absolutely agree with you, but historically, I won't be surprised, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Oh, Perez on knock on. That took 1 lap.
exactly.
And Hamilton's on the back of Mick. So that Mercedes isn't slow.
Oh,
I'm thinking of coming back, but
yeah, something. I don't know if that would have been able to pull that off.
you'd have to ask what would be the point.
Yeah, true.
Because you just slow him down, you slow yourself down, you bring the guys behind you with you. Sometimes it's better to let them through and just focus on your own race. That's a sort of a tricky maturity thing with real racing and sim racing. Sometimes you just got to let them go
Yeah.
to know when to do it.
Exactly.
Might just be a little too far-fetched, given that we've got to lap 13 out of 23, and that Red Bull
Okay, so looks like the Leclerc Sainz battle has eased off. They've separated themselves by 3 seconds. Can Leclerc make his way back to Verstappen? What do you think?
I don't think so.
I agree with you.
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's a shame. It's just that Ferrari doesn't have the race pace when it needs it.
Yeah. I was thinking like it was at the start of the year. It was very the start of the season. It was very Ferrari. Like, oh, they're very fast, and then Red Bull out of nowhere. Not really out of nowhere, to be honest. It was like we got this car. We're just as fast, and they've stormed away with it.
Yeah. The problem is the Ferrari has the Ferrari strategy department, don't they?
Exactly. Yeah. It really is this year's Red Bull, Ferrari, and then Mercedes kind of hanging on in the background, but not really.
Catching up ever so softly and slowly,
Yeah.
aren't they? It's getting closer.
All the other teams, no idea what they're doing.
No. Well, Haas are yo-yoing around the field. They're going, we're going to go 7th, then we're going to go 20th. What have we feel
Yeah.
like?
It's like Schumacher and Hamilton, isn't it, Crofty? All over again. Charles Leclerc is starting to eat away at Verstappen's lead. I think
There's a race that Ted just alluded to. I think it was 2012. It was between 2010 and 2012, where Hamilton was in the McLaren. He was trying to pass Michael Schumacher at Monza, and Hamilton could not get past Michael because even though Michael didn't have DRS, the Mercedes that Michael was driving was just set up for top speed, and even with DRS, McLaren couldn't pass the Mercedes. So just seeing a Hamilton Schumacher like this again is very reminiscent of that.
Yeah. It is.
I haven't thought about that race in years. I was watching F2 for a little bit earlier on, and with Arthur Leclerc racing, we could have 2 Leclercs in the field in a couple of years. That could be interesting.
True.
It's the first time we've had 2 brothers since Michael and Ralph.
Well, what team you'd go for though? I reckon probably maybe Alpha at the time.
Yeah, a lot of the F2 drivers seem to slot in somewhere down the bottom.
Yeah.
It's not like when Lewis came in, he gets straight out to McLaren. But he had a whole season or 2 worth of testing beforehand, and that doesn't exist anymore. I mean, it's a bit weird with the current state of F1 because all the big names are hogging the top teams. So Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc, Russell.
Yeah.
And a couple of, I don't want to use placed drivers like Sainz. He's earning his spot. But when he was first put there, it was a placeholder until Mick got up there. And Perez still feels like that until they can find someone from the junior program.
Daniel, we're looking at it. I'll get back to you.
Ricardo thinks he is the faster of the 2 McLarens at the moment. I think he'd like the team to try and get.
So Ricardo in qualifying had a terrible, horrible qualifying. But he was allegedly running a lot of simulation stuff for during practice 1 and whatnot, so he hasn't had the proper time as Norris has had. But honestly, week in, week out, Ricardo kind of wins my disappointment of the day.
Yeah, I don't think he's suited to that McLaren. Maybe he just doesn't suit his driving style, but
yeah, he must needs to go back to Red Bull, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, Perez is not catching Russell, which is quite interesting.
Perhaps it's I don't know, saving the car for tomorrow, maybe? Because you've only got 5 laps left. No, 6 laps left.
Yeah.
So,
Well, maybe
saving the engine, maybe.
Yeah, and maybe he's burned through his tyres to get where he needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt he'll probably take Russell within the first couple of laps tomorrow, let's be honest.
Yeah. But can Hamilton get one or two of the Haas boys?
Yeah, they're keeping him at bay currently.
I still think that is because of the DRS train that Magnussen is giving to Mick.
Yeah, I agree. We've been shown this year it's very hard to pass under a DRS train.
Mm-hmm.
You get stuck.
Is there a way to fix that? Not really. Not with the current rules, is there?
No, not really.
Because we also had Ocon pulling Alonso around at Canada doing exactly the same thing, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because Alonso had a power unit issue and he was missing a lot of the top end. And with the DRS, he could sort of hang with Ocon.
Yeah.
Despite Gasly having a trip round at turn 1, he's still ahead of Tsunoda.
Yeah.
And so is Zhou. What the heck has happened to Tsunoda?
Well, the last I've heard about Tsunoda is they've hired him a psychologist because on some corners on tracks, like he goes on the team radio and he, in a nice way of saying it, he rants about the corners and like not finding, I don't know, I guess confidence in the corners by just shouting down the team radio, but the AlphaTauri people think that it's affecting his performance, so they've hired him a team psychologist to work with him for the rest of the season, I think.
That's fair. It's kind of a maturity thing there from him as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard to remember, he's still quite a youngster. But some mature quicker than others. Oh, here we go. Are we going to see Hamilton pass the Schumacher? I just hope Hamilton doesn't dive bomb him. I mean, he's not known for it. But if anything, he actually might nearly accelerate into the back of him. Oh, come on, Mick, don't squeeze him.
Yeah, I was going to say Mick.
And it is that DRS that is just preserving that place for Mick Schumacher.
I wonder if Magnussen's being smart enough there to just to back off a little bit and keep giving his teammate the DRS.
Brundle is theorising that Magnussen might be holding position there to give Mick DRS. That would be an interesting IQ 200 move, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But is he? I don't know.
Oh,
that was close.
Did he touch his tyre?
I'm sure, but that was close.
Oh, Hamilton's got him. No, he
Wait,
hasn't. No, that's Bottas. That's Bottas. If the car, Lewis is saying the car ahead has gone off at least 4 times. Well, if that's the case, get past him.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh.
No, we don't.
Yeah, no, we don't. Go on, Bottas.
And now, if Hamilton's been smart, he'll deploy all his battery. Mick's being really good defensively.
Oh, it's going to force him up.
Squeeze. It's good action from the sprint. Imagine if Bottas has come through and takes them both. I was thinking that. I mean, that'd be an uproar. Politically.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's an IQ 200 move from Mick, at least. He's asking for Kevin to slow down to get the DRS.
Hamilton then should
No, I
have
think
been
Magnussen's checked out now.
been to turn three.
No, I've had enough.
Yeah, it's like I've had enough.
Got to have a chance here. He's gone to the outside again though.
That was the first part of his best chance so far.
Okay, here we go.
The second part might be slightly easier.
Don't
But he
force it.
consistently gets a better exit out of turn
Yeah,
three,
when that
and on
Mercedes
this
has
occasion,
clear
Hamilton gets DRS,
clear air
Mick Schumacher hasn't,
and
as they get into
Haas
the
doesn't have
braking zone.
DRS, then yeah.
Hamilton is ahead,
But
and he's
I'm not going to put any money on
Schumacher will try
Mick.
and fight this back
He
again.
might have a go on
Hamilton
back
as
at
they make
Hamilton.
the left-hand turn through turn 6 has got a few car lengths advantage.
Yeah, I think he's got enough speed now. And,
It's good to see this though. It's good to see some fighting stones from Mick Schumacher.
Yeah.
We will see. That's the best scrap, isn't it?
More points finishes, please.
Yeah. A shame today's no points.
No.
Well, I mean the top 3 get points, but that's it. Isn't it the top 3?
I think so. Don't quote me on that, but I think so. It's not by much, is it? It's not many points. It's not like a race win amount of points, is it? It's like quite small.
Yeah.
I can't remember what points they get awarded, but
No, and I can't
No, it's
Google
not.
it fast enough.
no, it's not as big.
Last year it was 3, 2, and 1, but I think it's more this year. I think
Yeah.
it's many more.
As soon as Sainz blocked his front tyres, he backed off.
I am surprised we haven't seen a penalty for Albon regarding Vettel though.
Mm.
Ooh.
Ouch, after he made contact with Alex Albon
So
and
is that-
went off into the gravel, and we see Zhou Guanyu.
Who is that?
again,
Oh,
Gasly
Gasly
back
and Zhou
after
Guanyu.
Gasly's,
Fine.
first lap incident. This is the scrap.
He's obviously recovered from being upside down sideways at the beginning of last Grand Prix.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see him back out and not afraid of the car. Because obviously, from a perspective, that's quite a hefty accident he had, even though he wasn't injured. But
Mm.
I don't know, that sort of thing could psychologically affect another driver. So it's good to see him that he's not afraid to give it what he's got.
Absolutely. But it is weird with some drivers. Sometimes a big shunt means nothing to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Other times it's terrible. And that's it.
Mhm.
1/3 race over.
Yep.
That was
Well
quick.
done. That was quick. That was really quick.
It's only barely over a minute this lap, so 23 laps is under half an hour.
Mm.
And they just said the points. It's 8 down to 1 through 1 through 8.
Oh, okay.
It was more than last year by a long way, actually. So we're
Yeah.
going to see K-Mag get some points. Mick just miss out, but a good performance nonetheless.
Mhm.
Lewis Hamilton, who will be the final point scorer in this race this afternoon, takes 1 point ahead of Mick Schumacher and Valtteri Bottas. Then comes Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo after Ricciardo.
Solid sprint race. Good action in the midfield.
Vettel and Alonso both retired.
Leclerc got fastest lap
Second penalty in the race.
on the final
Yeah.
lap, I think.
Nice work, Max. Well done.
I think you saw the Ferraris and Perez, I don't know, back off a bit because they remember they got a main race tomorrow.
Yeah. And for the sake of 1 point, chasing down Max, it's not worth it, is
Yeah.
it?
No. Ferrari just probably went, don't take each other out.
Oh, do you reckon there was some words on the radio? Boys, stop
Probably.
it. Ooh. Leclerc thinks he can get him tomorrow.
I mean, I'd like to see it. I would love to see it. I don't know.
They've got to work together on the first lap.
Yeah, not
Screw each other
affect
over.
each other. Yeah, I agree.
If they get one of them in front of Max, they can control the race.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We are getting... It's becoming a very common sight seeing a Red Bull with 2 Ferraris next to it.
Interesting comment there, I thought.
Yeah.
Charles Leclerc. Yeah, we're quick. We'll get them tomorrow. Didn't see a lot of evidence of that, but they're not slow. But Max wasn't exactly wringing his neck either, was
And I have an answer. I mean, there's been a few YouTube posts by particularly like Driver 61 and a few others regarding Joe's, because we said during the last one with the Silverstone race that the airbox had disappeared or failed. Turns out the airbox is still intact. It broke off. The chassis broke off the airbox, not the other way around.
Oh.
So the car failed, sort of.
Yeah.
So that's something for the FIA to look into.
Oh.
It literally broke away from the carbon fibre. It separated the carbon fibre.
Ouch.
Oh no, I've never seen that. So what does the chat think of the sprint race today? A few years ago they banned grid girls and all that sort of thing. I think they're skirting around the problem on this one. They've definitely got around that by saying it's by having loads of the girls back there in national dress. They've got around that one.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah. And there was one guy there.
Yeah, the guy at the end with the flag was just like... It's like, am I meant to be here?
Yeah. Alright, I'll take it back two. There's two guys there. You gotta laugh when it obviously go round some of the rules.
Yeah.
And put a token couple of people there. So yeah, they're fine. It's not what it used to be. Steven says, what about all that was? Yeah. As I said earlier on, very sort of reminiscent of Michael Schumacher and Hamilton at Monza a few years back. I think in about 2010 to 12. Well, it's in that area, but I can't remember which year.
Yeah.
Tight Lord says, how we doing today, legends?
Oh, hello. I'm doing good, and yourself?
And I'm surviving, thank you. We've been enjoying a good sprint race.
Yeah. Been good.
Oh yeah, they get medals for this, don't
Oh
they?
yeah, I was looking like...
What's that?
What's that?
Stephen was praying for a solitary point for Mick, but not to be. I mean, it's fair. He's still got a good chance tomorrow.
Yeah, he's inside the top 10. Hopefully some more points finishes for him tomorrow.
I presume you're talking about Mick still, Stephen. Thinks he's going to get a penalty as well, unfortunately. Or maybe a fine. What, for the on-track action with Hamilton? And good to hear you're doing well, Tight Lord. Are you happy with the result of the sprint race? Max Leclerc signs? How happy do you reckon Sainz and Leclerc are with each other?
I don't know. I think maybe probably a little bit frosty. Like, if you dare do that to me again tomorrow.
Apparently, Mick and Ricardo are under investigation for starting grid procedure infringement.
Oh.
Oh.
It was just the first few laps. Of course, they were also fighting a little bit, so I had a bit of a gap. And after that, I think we were quite similar in pace. So I do expect tomorrow, it's going to be...
The Ferrari boys do like that. They're quite deep in conversation with each other.
Of course, the race is always going to be quite a lot longer.
At least Sainz is smiling.
Yeah, Charles looks a little bit moody.
He does a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But how much is that political stuff that you alluded to earlier on?
Don't know. Well, Charles was the one to mention it.
Shocker. Last time we saw a driver that upset with Ferrari, Vettel left. And Alonso left.
It was tricky. Obviously, the first part of the race was all about managing, but Max was very quick. He was pushing quite a lot at the beginning, so I was just trying to control my tires to attack at the end. Then we've had a small fight with...
Apparently Ocon's car is conked out. Again, 2 races in a row. He points in 5th. Or has he not managed to make it round to the final lap?
Oh no.
Now, we saw that little fight between you and Carlos in the race, and as much as we love to see racing, do you think you guys can work together tomorrow to close the gap to Max?
I really hope so.
Good luck tomorrow then.
Oh, I really hope so.
Carlos, congrats. Our most recent Grand Prix winner. You had a pretty good race today. You managed
Apparently,
to take the
Ocon
challenge
stopped
to
in
12. How do you
sector
turn that around tomorrow,
1
considering
after the
battle
checkered
to Max?
flag.
Yeah, I
Oh.
had a good start, then
Ominous.
a couple of fights there at the beginning, first with Max into turn 3, then with Charles into turn 3 again a bit later in the race, which was good. It was good fun, like it should be, good racing. But then, yeah, probably overheated a bit the tires running there behind Charles. I had to back off to recover them and finish the race.
Can you work together with 3 DRS zones to sort of close the gap and work with each other?
3 DRS zones does seem like a bit much in Austria, doesn't it?
DRS zones to close that gap
Yeah.
tomorrow.
We will see. I think first of all we will need to improve a little bit the pace because he looked to be very strong at the beginning of the race. Then little by little it looks like we were starting to match him. Tomorrow is a longer race. Tomorrow we will go through different compounds. So I think anything can happen. The important thing is that we are both in the fight and we will try our best to beat the Max.
Okay, well, we wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Okay. Max always seems very chatty with the Ferrari drivers after the race in the cool down, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't see that with Lewis many times previously.
No, but I think we can understand why, probably.
Mm. Okay, well that's the end of the sprint.
Multiple rally champions, someone you obviously looked up to your whole childhood.
What do we think so far? Was that sprint a success?
I think so. But I don't know. It went very quick.
Yeah. Wait, the 1/3 distance, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Some teams I could probably see that they wanted like better results, and I don't know, wanted to save the car a little bit instead of thrashing them.
yeah. I mean, I would imagine once Max was out front, got a 2-second gap, he just held it there.
Yeah.
And for the sake of 1 point, I don't think the Ferrari guys would have pushed too hard to try and catch Max. In the points,
I agree.
yeah. The difference between first and second in the Grand Prix is 7 points. So I don't think there's a point for fastest lap in the sprint, but either way, Leclerc took that today. So it's promising for tomorrow, but it's worrying at the same thing that Max can just get past the Ferrari. Well, he didn't have to pass them; he just held them into turn 3.
Yep.
And then disappeared once the Ferrari boys started fighting each other.
True.
It's entertaining, but it's not clever from the Ferraris.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Oh dear. And the front three, Steven says the front three was a bit pedestrian, despite the Ferraris trying to tear strips off each other. But the rest was good. It's accurate. It's very accurate.
Well, it was interesting, the Danny saying I'm the faster McLaren.
Yeah, Norris yesterday in qualifying, he was really struggling with the brakes. And as soon as they go through qualifying, they're obviously under homologation. So whatever problem Lando's got, if it's not a safety or a part that's failed, they can't change it.
Yeah.
So tough luck there.
It is indeed.
It's worth saying tonight we're doing our usual pre-Grand Prix, full length, and we're all going to try and get past lap 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Well,
no, it's lap 1 for me. Sorry.
It is lap 1. Have you tried racing around Austria on the F1 game recently?
I think I have. Yeah, I must have at some point.
Do not go from Gran Turismo up to F1 around that same circuit.
Oh no, it's so different.
I know. So, oh, I like this track, I'm really good here. And oh my god, the corners come back quick.
It feels so small on F1 compared to like GT7 and GT Sport. Like the track just seems so small.
I know, it's exactly that. And then
It's so tight as well. Actually, like quite close together.
yeah, it feels like a fundamentally different track. You have to relearn all your braking points.
Exactly.
I found I was braking like 50 metres too early. So I'll brake about here. It's about where I brake on GT7, and I'm trundling into the corner. I was like,
Yeah.
Excuse me. Stephen said he did a 50% race at Austria last night against the AI. Was it a peaceful race? Absolutely not.
I mean, is any F1 race with AI peaceful?
No. Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
we found out when we had a full grid of AI. They just do weird things.
Yeah, that first one we did at Barcelona, when particularly when I come across two drivers just stopped on the pit straight.
Yeah, the weirdest encounter for me was at Baku and Hamilton just stopped, like, just stopped.
Yeah, and that was around the right hander onto the pit straight, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah, and then I came steaming around the corner. I went, oh, it's smack.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, there's less of those antics in the actual R race tonight, and for the Grand Prix tomorrow. So,
looking forward to it.
yeah, likewise. So, for all those that want to join, as long as you're in my friends list, you're welcome. And we'll hopefully enjoy that. We can have, that's the point, does the F1 2022 have sprint race? I haven't got the game yet, but...
I haven't got the game either yet.
No, that'd be interesting to
Too
find out.
expensive.
Yeah, 60, 70 quid for another F1 game once a year.
Yeah.
I'll get every
EA
other year.
doing its thing.
Yeah, EA, pay to win, pay to play.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it'd be good to do a sprint race, but problem is it will be just no stop. I suppose it suits some people. Lights to flag, so I like a bit of strategy.
Yeah.
So, anywho, we'll be back with that later tonight, and I'll do my usual thing, and we'll get going on that. But as a quick review for the sprint race today, out of 10.
Oh, out of 10.
Not against Grand Prix, but against sort of sprint race. Rate, say, Hamilton's Sao Paulo's. I mean, we've probably got to say that's a 9 or a 10. That was pretty damn good.
Yeah, I'll go for maybe a 6.
I was going to go a little higher. Sort of 7, 7.5.
I'll go 6, 7, because I don't know. It was good, but it just wasn't as interesting as that Brazil one.
True. Very
It was
true.
kind of meh.
True.
Except for the few battles we saw.
Yeah.
The rest of it was just meh.
I get it. Through most of the pack, there was nothing going on. Unless it was around Hamilton and the Haas, or Perez, or the two Ferrari boys knocking, strips off each other. But other than that, it was little action. Although we did see Vettel and Albon come together, Gasly go flying through turn 1. When I say it like this, it should be a lot better.
Yeah.
So it's racing on actual overtaking action, a little bit minimal.
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. I think 1/3 of the distance it's not too short on some tracks, but I don't know, it felt kind of short on this track.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like some of the sprint races, they seem to like go on for a bit longer than we expect, and then this one just went so quickly.
Yeah. I think it's going to be something they have to look at where they choose a track appropriately for the sprint.
Yeah.
Something that isn't a 1 minute lap.
Yeah, exactly. Because it almost like we started and it was, oh, we're finished. We're done.
Yeah. Especially when you're used to 90 minutes, or in our case, 2 to 3 hours worth of red flags and non-racing.
Yeah, true.
That was as soon as we settled into it. Oh, it's the last 2 laps.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
That's fair. Maybe a slightly longer course. Spa. Ooh. So that's like 2-minute lap ish.
Yeah.
That'd probably only be about, I think that's like 44 laps in all, so that'd probably be, what, 13 laps? Something like 15 laps?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So that'd only be half an hour.
Do you reckon that a sprint race could be made into like a 50% race? Like half a race? Or is that just too long, do you reckon? I get that obviously you don't have to pit in the sprint at the moment, like it's just literally go and then 2 laps and then you're done. But no.
I think it being a bit longer would probably be a good idea, because we might see a bit of strategy that way. I mean, if the soft tyres won't last, the medium tyres would struggle. Some would go for the hard and go for a non-stop, and some would go for double soft.
But do you reckon it's because maybe, well, we all know that probably from next year the decrease in the amount of tyres. I don't think we'd ever see that come into fruition though.
Depends what they do with the tyre rules. They may give an extra set of tyres for the sprints. I'm only guessing.
Maybe.
Or
Maybe.
they might.
Well,
it very much depends on how they play with the rules. And I heard a rumour the other day they were looking at changing the qualifying format for 2 or 3 races next year. And for the life of me, I can't remember what it was. Can you remember?
I think it was that so everyone's on the same set of tyres, or everyone has I don't know, the same sort of opportunities. It was Q1, everyone was on hards.
That's it, yeah.
Q2, everyone was on mediums, and then Q1 was on softs.
Yeah.
Something like that. But I don't know, it'd be interesting, but obviously for some cars, some of the tyres, to get them to heat up, 15 minutes is probably not enough. Or however long it is, 10-15 minutes in a one quali session is not enough to get the full potential out of those tyres. Like, imagine Q1 with hard tyres, like, you'd be getting, I don't know, 1 to 2 laps of decent pace, but the rest would just be, I don't know, kind of sluggish.
Yeah, it's potential. And you've also got the problem of weather. Wet weather. What would you do with the tyre allocation then?
Oh, yeah, true.
So, I mean, that's something that they think about, and it will come to, it will do its thing. FAA will figure it out and go from there. But the one thing we know from the FAA is they do occasionally miss. They leave a little bit of a loophole somewhere by mistake, so we'll see what happens with that. And
and it's, with the FIA, it's always like thinking about, what we can do next year and the year after that, but it's not what you can do now. What can you just fix things now?
Which reminds me, thinking about now, see, there's been this big debate about flexible floors. Have you heard about it?
Yeah. A little bit about it.
Looking
Mercedes got the most flexible floor.
Yeah. Oh, hold that thought. Thank you to Pedro for the resub, buddy. Very good of you. But the point I was going to say, I'm going to say thank you again to Pedro. The reason why Mercedes have been struggling with the flapping floor is just a matter of sort of physics, actually. If you look at the side pods for the other teams, particularly if you look at the Williams, the sort of Generation A spec, compared to what Latifi was running last week to what Albon's running now, obviously the side pods at Albon have gone back to a more traditional, bigger swept design. The physics of it is that the floor joins to the side pods a lot, not as far away from the edge of the floor, and that itself just leads inherently to more flexing of the floor. So Mercedes' problem with the flexing floor is a severe problem with their design of it. I mean, all they've got to do, technically speaking, is make sure that the floor is thicker, so it's more sturdy and whatnot. But inherently, it is a problem with the design that they've gone for, which Williams have gone away from. Which I thought was, as soon as you sit there and look at it, and it's like, that makes a lot of sense. But obviously
true.
the big problem at the moment is that some teams they're having flexible floors that don't rebound or they don't work linearly, which means they go, for those that can see the camera, they sort of flex a little bit by a millimetre or two, and then they go ping by a long way. I mean, obviously 1 or 2 millimetres to about 6. They literally go, they reach the tolerance of 2 millimetres, and then above a certain speed just go donk, like that. So it's almost like movable aerodynamics. So, and that is something from France onwards, I believe, that the FIA are bringing in stringent floor tests for both that and to reduce porpoising, and there's going to be a metric that the teams have to adhere to regarding porpoising. So it's all going to be changing, maybe from France onwards. Or it could be Spa. It could be Spa, Stephen says. Okay. Don't worry about that, Pedro. It was good fun, mate.
I mean, it'd be good to see like how each team interpret like doing it or fixing it, like Mercedes. Because I don't know. I suppose it. Well, not knowing how the car performs at the start of the year, maybe they thought that this design was the best to give them the most. I don't know.
The most
guess
downforce.
a bit of downforce. Would it be? Yeah.
It's tricky.
Downforce predominantly, but yeah, maybe they thought, because it flexes, it will give us more like resistance less air resistance, but I think it's giving them more at the moment, and they need to fix it.
Either way, it hasn't worked for them up until now, and
exactly, yeah.
But they are just starting to get on top of it.
Saying that, obviously, like Aston Martin, Red Bull, seems to have, I don't know, come out with the car and it does everything they want it to do, like etc. It's quite fast, but it's like the teams that have tried to copy them, like Aston Martin, I guess a little bit of Williams with Albon's car. But they've got it wrong. Yeah, they've almost like copied it, but not copied the whole thing.
Well,
yeah.
Well, we'll just have to see what they do in the next couple of races when the new rules, the new tests come in.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It'd be good to see.
Either way,
teams.
We're going to try and enjoy tomorrow's race, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. We love Austria.
We do.
We love it on games we can drive it.
Tonight might be a bit of a cluck, so tune in. It'll be here, and hopefully we can all make it round lap 1, turn 1, turn 2. And I've got a bit of history with turn 3, so we'll see what happens. And hopefully there will be no elbows out, a lot of respect given, and we'll see the return of Stephen as well. That'll be good fun to see you on track again. Hopefully we've got a big grid. So I'm going to say sprint race, that was good fun. I'll look forward to tonight. I'll look forward to the Grand Prix tomorrow. And thank you very much, Sarah, for being there. And thank you, chat.
For having me.
Always.
Yeah, it's good fun. Good fun.
Exactly that. Any final thoughts before we go?
Race.
Yeah.
Excited for the race. Like we say, Austria always puts on a good show. So yeah, it'd be good to see the result tomorrow, and hopefully your favourite team or favourite driver get a good result. I know we all have different, so I hope everyone's driver or team does well.
Absolutely right. And yeah, on that note, we'll leave that there. I'm going to say thank you all and catch you all next time. Let's get someone on raid. Who's on?
Oh,
let's have a look.
Sure.
Apparently none of my people that I follow are online. Absolutely no one is online. Nobody I follow is online. That's the first.
For me, you've got just Hun _ is doing Well, she was doing watch along as well, but she's doing F1 2022 open lobbies now.
Let's do
I
that.
don't know if you want to stick with the F1 theme or not.
Exactly. Let's do that. Got F1 22. Right, we'll keep with the F1. Let's move over to Jess Hunt. And I'm going to say see you on later on, hopefully, and have a nice one.
See you later.
Bye. High five. No, other side.
Which way? That way.
That way. That way. That way. That's it. That's it. We're doing this. We're doing this. Catch you later.